Hi, I'm Greg Gavaziak.
And I'm Luke Phillips.
And this is the Semi Crazy Podcast, the podcast by truckers, for truckers. Okay, now we're on. So,
right.
Yeah, everybody's here, and special guest from out east. Or, well, I guess you can call you special, right?
I've been called worse.
So, anybody who's heard us throw Marlon under the bus this time, he's here to actually refute anything in person. And,
So just before we get too far into that, I want to point out there's no pink flamingos, no table dancing, none of that going on. Just to calm those rumors down right away.
Well, I believed you all along. I mean, it was, I think somebody else threw you under the bus on that one there. So I just agreed. I just went along with it because I'd been drinking.
No, we couldn't tell.
Did Luke's computer already shit the bed? I think it did, eh?
I don't see any green bars where he is anyway. He's pretty quiet.
Yeah, and that's really odd. That's funny. That's funny. So now you can actually talk about him without him being able to say anything back to you.
Well, where do we start? There's all kinds of places we could take that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's so funny that I thought we'd actually get maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes in before this happened, but not even fucking 5.
We need to find a way to get Luke some better internet or something out there.
Yeah, I think so. Like he needs to have a tower or a booster or I don't know, couple more gerbils in the wheel there to spin that fucking internet up. I don't know. Now it's just you and me.
Should we invite him to Civilization for the next session? That way he could know what it's like to have real internet.
Yeah, that might be it. Oh, we looked at buying. I think I told you that, getting a thing to record, but then we always had to be in the same place, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we could have still brought you in, but then him and I always have to be in the same place, and so I couldn't see spending the money on it for that. But oh well. So you look really relaxed and like you're holidaying.
I might be. I'm not gonna want to go back to work on Thursday. Not gonna lie.
So you won't confirm? You won't confirm or deny that you're on holidays, or?
Okay, I'll confirm. It's been about a month now. It's been awesome. I think it's the longest I've been out of a truck in 15 years, if we're being honest.
No shit. Well, that's what we are here, is honest. So you enjoyed the time off though, and nice to get away from running back and forth, eh?
Yeah, it was good. I had a lot of 2 weddings and just seeing people all the time. It's finally calmed down here in the last couple days. I can relax and enjoy this backyard. I'll just give you a little look here. So it's been kind of nice, real nice actually.
Oh yeah, it's especially the weather. I mean, you really lucked out when you got your holidays, because I mean, damn, the weather's been hotter than hell down that way.
It's been very nice. Couple of bike rides, get out a little bit, and just did a lot of work around the place. Had a couple of stumps in my lawn, ended up cutting them off and getting a stump grinder in and getting rid of them, and I get a lot done around here. It's great.
So your honey-do list is shrunk now, and you can go back on the road?
Well, I've never actually had one of them, if we're being honest, but it was nice to get some of that done.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd show you around here, but I'm in the midst of moving, so it's it kind of looks like a disaster zone here. I'd go at the kitchen table, but the kitchen table's already gone, and then half of my desk is I'm kind of sitting sideways at one desk because the other one I can't mount the microphone to, and but whatever. It's a trucking thing, right? You just make do with what you fucking got.
That's right. I'm sure you've recorded this out of the bunk of a Western Star before as well.
I was going to, but then I never had any takers. So, and I wasn't
Oh,
blaming you on that one.
oh yeah,
There was just
no friends in Southern Ontario, right?
no, yeah. I don't have any fans down there, or nobody that wanted to come talk to me. So, but that's all right. I got a bunch of shit done that day too. So it's all
Wait,
good.
this show has fans?
Well, at least 5 or 6 that just repeatedly download it. That's what we figured out. So
You got some good friends, Greg.
yeah, I try. I didn't. Yeah, haven't done it on the back of the bunk. That didn't sound right. I haven't recorded the podcast in the back of the bunk. Let's say that much. Oh, are you there now?
Hello.
All right, change the subject, Greg. We can't talk about that anymore.
Yeah,
He's back.
I said it right before we hit record. It'll happen at least once. Well, there we go. Got it out of the way early.
well, hopefully that's the last time.
I don't know why it's doing that. Like, I bought a new battery for it because it said it was not charging. And it still says it's not charged. Oh, it just charged for a second. Computers. Yep.
At some point here, if we ever become successful, that's the first thing I'm going to buy you is a new computer.
Yeah. Successful. Yeah, right.
It's a lot of different definitions for that word.
Right? I got out of bed this morning and put pants on. I'd say I'm doing pretty good.
Well, I'll call that a success.
Well, I'm glad.
It is pretty impressive. It's only like 9 o'clock out there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still morning time.
Well, especially considering yesterday I didn't. Well, yeah, and yesterday I didn't hear from you till like noon-ish, noon 30.
I was trying to solve the world's problems the night before, see, and it didn't work.
And yeah, so did you rescue your pickup truck then and all that stuff, or?
It actually made it home, just with fuel spraying absolutely everywhere, but it made it home.
It was a bit of an adventure.
Well, that's how it always goes, right? Is like I lent my pickup out to my buddy Ty to go get his holiday trailer, and yeah, it's an old pickup, just like everything else I own. So it broke down par for the course. But what it was is just I had a pressure gauge going where my fuel line went into my injection pump, and I guess that pressure gauge wasn't quite rated for the pressure that I was pushing through it, and it blew the top off of it and started geysering fuel out of there.
So his mileage sucked coming home?
Oh, like a quarter tank from Stony Plain to my house.
Holy fuck.
That's like what, 30K?
No, you got crackly there in the middle of that.
I was just saying that's like what, 30K from Stony to my house? Not even?
Yeah, not far at all. So yeah, quarter tank. That's yeah. You're getting close to measuring it in gallons to miles, not miles to gallon. Then.
So right after we buy Luke a new computer, are we going to work on a few vehicles next, or
Possibly.
too soon?
Yep, I don't know. As soon as we said that, then the computer shit the bed again. It looks like so.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. So now you're really starting to understand the technical difficulties we go through every time we put this up, eh?
Yeah, it's starting to make a lot of sense. I'm wondering if we're going to pick up a lot of wind noise from me sitting out here, though. I'm not sure.
I was just gonna say I was getting a little bit, eh? I could hear it there when the wind picked up. I mean, I can pull a little bit of that down when I in post, right? But
Okay. You're
sometimes
editing this yourself?
Yeah, my editor is south right now, so and the computer isn't set up in the other house yet, and so and it's on me now. So yeah, your big screen again. So
wow, I'm quite impressed that you guys have gotten as many episodes out as you have, given all the difficulties you guys deal with.
Yeah, it's when we've tried a couple different systems. This is probably the best for as far as doing remote. I know it works better than Skype or what's that other one that everybody always uses? Oh, I can't even think of the name, but whatever. We've tried a couple, and this like Squadcast works about the best for up to 4 people, anyways.
Oh, okay.
And but the main issue seems to be internet. You got to have good Wi-Fi, or it just doesn't work, doesn't stream smooth. And yeah, I found a bit of a delay when you first started, but like as we go, it seems like the lag is less. So
Yeah, it seems to be right there. It's not bad at all.
and when it's just you on the camera, your video streams perfectly good. But when when the two of you are both up, it looked a little bit more sketchy. So I'm gonna blame that on Luke.
It's all Luke's equipment. We'll blame that.
Yeah, there you go. So
how about you this week? You were out trucking?
Yeah, I did a little bit of trucking this week. Went out and where did I even run? Now I got to really rethink this. I went out to BC and back, and so just grabbed a couple pieces and ran down to Kamloops area. Anyways, Chase, Salmon Arm, and then went to the coast, and from the coast went back out to Picture Butte, and then I had a funeral that I had to go to. That was kind of a tough one, anyways. Someone in my family, fairly young, and then came back here and loaded pipe and heading to Swift in the morning. So it's a pretty easy week of trucking, and no drama. Like it was just actually all of my unloads went fast. I went down. Oh, I shouldn't say no drama. I had to pick up a container down in Delta, and I was in lineup for 4.5 hours. So not a big fan of that. I'm actually surprised I got a good rate on it, even because usually hauling that kind of crap you don't. But
straight out of the rail yard or what?
Yeah, not rail, but a reload. Anyways, a container reload down by the port. So, but yeah, I went there, I looked at the lineup, and I called the number I was supposed to call, and I said, "Yeah, I think I'm at the end of the line." She said, "Oh, where are you at?" And I told her. She's like, "Oh, no. You see, there's a corner ahead of you. You'll have to go back to the main road and then go down 2 blocks and turn right, and then you'll come around and see the end of the lineup." So I made that turn and came around, and then on the side street that connected to the street where I thought I was at the back of the lineup, on that side street alone, there was probably 30 trucks.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. So I was not super impressed with that, but I don't know. I guess maybe those guys get paid by the hour, so they don't care. They do it every day. But when you're just getting your flat rate, frick.
You don't get paid by the hour? I thought every trucker gets paid by the hour for every minute they work. What is this?
Oh, just a second here. I should there's a lesson. Put your phone on mute. Are you there? Your computer you're talking? You're on speakerphone. I don't know if anyone can hear you or not.
Put me off the bird and then shut off again.
No, fuck.
So,
you're out?
Yeah, I'm going to drop this prick off at the computer store, though, tomorrow on my way to work.
Okay. Well, and failing that, drop it out of your truck at about 65 miles an hour.
Yes, most definitely. So, well, I'm disappointed in this. I was looking forward to this with Marlon and Chip.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it another time, and he'll try not to take your co-host spot here. So.
Yeah, right. Well, it's pretty clear that I'm half-assing it. So.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to start bringing your A game with your equipment there. So.
Yeah, right. I'll try and get on full time.
Yeah.
Like the guy that shows up to the job and forgets his fucking tire change. So.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. I'll let you go, and we'll just continue here for a bit.
Okay, podcast it up. Talk to you fellas later.
10-4.
gave up completely, did it?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you could hear any of that through the mic or not, but
A little bit.
yeah, maybe I'll be able to bring that up a little. Yeah, so Luke's computer decided to finally cav out, and yeah, so I said if he's lucky, he'll still have a spot when he comes back. Eh?
If he wants to drop it out the window, tell him to find a bridge abutment. That'll really help the computer get fixed faster there when he tosses it.
Yeah, exactly right. Freaking hate. I hate that I had problems with this one for a while too, and then take it in and you get them fixed, and it only seems like they fix for a little while. I don't know. Computers, I think, are worse than trucks sometimes.
Oof, I don't know. Trucks suck pretty good some days. So does technology, though.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that's I don't know if, and I don't know with computers if it's the same as like with trucks. At least it seems like you and I both are of the same mind of buying new and then keeping something that's on warranty. Yeah, yeah, big star guys. Anybody doesn't know, Marlon's truck is close to mine.
No. Greg's truck is close to mine. I'm pretty sure mine was built first.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. And I've been trying to emulate it ever since, but I just, I haven't quite got there yet.
I heard about the pipes, trying to put pipes on it, all that stuff. I can see where this is going.
Yeah, I've tried, but I haven't got there yet. So I mean, as much as Luke needs to up his computer game, I probably need to up my trucking game. But
you'll get there.
Thanks.
You'll get there.
Thanks for that. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you because I don't think I ever got your backstory. Like when you started trucking, were you just like hauling local around like Southern Ontario, or how'd you get started?
The first year or so, I was working as a shipper receiver at a local welding company. Actually, the company that used to make the superstructure, so like the tarp buildings with the metal trusses.
Okay, yep.
And I was working as a shipper receiver there, then slowly got into gooseneck and some local, very local with a trailer. So taking trusses to Acton to be galvanized and just very local flatbed work.
Oh, yeah.
And then just before I turned 21, I started full-time at a company where I was hauling feed to like Sault Ste. Marie, New Liskeard, everything out of Southern Ontario here. So somewhat local, 8-10 hours, all in Ontario here.
Okay.
Did that for 5.5 years, and then where did I go then? Started hauling cattle, I guess, for a few different companies.
How many years did you haul cattle for? Because is that where you bought your first truck?
No, cattle was about 3.5 years, I guess, at 3 different companies.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, I went to flatbed work, hauling equipment. I guess the cattle is where I started really going, seeing the country. The first place I did a lot of East Coast stuff, Eastern Quebec and down to the Maritimes. And then the last company, I was all over the U.S. and West even.
Oh, yeah.
Breeding stock to Brownsville, Texas, just all over the kind of the eastern half of the U.S. and Canada.
Oh, yeah, right on.
And then when I started doing all the flatbed work is when I started going a little farther west, the Pacific Northwest, the Washington, Oregon, all that stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And,
actually running the hills.
Yeah, and then and BC, I guess. What I was doing with the flatbed stuff, I was hauling a lot of equipment like snow blades and buckets and just the small farm equipment. And
stuff that they manufacture out east, and then
it would go all over like Chilliwack, right down into the lower mainland quite a bit, and all over the prairies, I guess. It's a good way to
Right on.
find a lot of back roads in Saskatchewan when you're delivering to every little dealership in every little town.
Oh, I understand that really well right now. I do a ton of that stuff too. Tyler's always sending me with tractors and little farm implements and stuff like that. Like yeah, I know what you mean. There's a ton of roads I never even knew were there, and towns that probably really haven't existed fully for 30, 40 years, but they're
Many
still
years.
somehow there. And there's you're getting noisy over there.
I'm dropping my coffee can. Well,
Oh, there you go.
yeah, coffee. Yeah, no,
Oh,
everything in that job was LTL, so it would be nothing to do 12, 15, 20 drops across the prairies doing that
Oh, shit.
stuff. Start in Manitoba, end in Alberta or BC, and just dropping everywhere. It was not the fastest routes across the prairies when I was doing that job.
Yeah, so you'd be out, what, 2 weeks by the time you come back, probably? Or
Yeah, around that. If you went to the coast, it was pretty hard to do it in 2 weeks with all those drops, but Alberta was pretty easy.
yeah, that's what I kind of find when I head your way, too. The same thing. I always used to think that all of Ontario was flat, too. I'd never run in Northern Ontario until, like, last fall. And, yeah, first time I hauled a shack out there, I was like, holy shit, there is actually hills out here. Like,
There's a few short
just
little
started-
ones.
yeah, there's a couple. It's not, I mean, there's a couple decent ones, right? But I mean, it's not BC, but it's still pretty, it's pretty rocky, and the route down along the north of the lake is really actually really pretty drive. I enjoy it. I mean, I probably wouldn't enjoy it if I did it every single week, but
Really? Why not? What's wrong with that? Are you attacking
I
my
don't know.
job?
Not really. No, I just I get bored easily. It's my kind of squirrel brain. I can't concentrate on anything for that long.
Really? I've listened
no,
to this
surprising, right?
podcast for what, 13 episodes? I've never seen a squirrel brain on any one of them. Come on now.
Yeah, my friend sent me a thing once. It showed how I tell a story, and it's something like I start out with one way, and then I get into a somewhat related side story, and then throw in far too many details about that. Oops, where did I go? Oh yeah, we were talking about this, and then back to, and it basically just draws a like big circle and around and back. And most people, beginning, middle, end. Not this guy, just not the way I roll.
Boring. It's too boring. Why take direct routes anywhere?
Oh yeah, absolutely right. It's the road less traveled. Yeah, getting a little more. I was getting a little more wind noise there for a sec. That's all good.
We'll either annoy all 5 people that listen to this and they'll never listen to it again, or maybe if maybe I'll have to get a better mic and kick Luke out of his spot.
Well, that's one thing I know you're not afraid of is to buy good equipment. So
I don't know what you're. Oh, it was the Western Star, wasn't it? That was the what let it out.
yeah, we get the Star, and then you got. I mean, your YouTube game has eclipsed mine as far as. I mean, I think my GoPros are like Hero 3s or some freaking thing. I do have to get better cameras and stuff too. It's I like to say I just aspire to have that good equipment one of these days. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I just buy the basic cheap stuff and go try and make something of it. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
okay, we'll go with that. Oh, it's good. I guess too for anybody who doesn't know, like I ran into Marlon. What was that, 3 years ago or 4 years ago when you were out west with your little Kenworth?
You didn't tell me there'd be math involved with this. That wasn't part of the deal.
Ah, there you go. I guess the timeline really doesn't matter.
I've been doing this for 3 years here in the fall. I want to say it'd be at least 4 years ago now. Maybe 5.
Oh, okay.
Well, 4?
Yeah.
I don't know. Somewhere around there. It's at least 4.
Yeah, I think it was I think it was the first year I was at Mac. Maybe something like that. Because it was the first. Yeah, because it was the first year we did the show out at Blackjack's.
Right.
And you were here. Yeah, and then I remember thinking, I can't believe this guy goes all across the country with this little 42-inch Funk. I mean, I like that truck. I think that truck looked cool as shit, but I was still marveled at the fact that you're running back and forth across the country in that little bunk. It was given the space you have now, it's like going from a bachelor apartment to a freaking 3-bedroom
mansion.
Yeah, yeah.
That little truck was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that little truck. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't days I didn't miss it a little bit. As far as a fun aspect, functional or making money, there's absolutely nothing I miss about that truck. But it was cool. It was fun. Speaking about that truck, once I show you the pictures, once I'm allowed to here in a couple of weeks of what it looks like now, you won't even recognize it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, really, eh?
It's pretty cool. I keep getting updates, and I can't wait to actually see it in person finished.
I really I like when guys look after stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? When you sell something, you always worry that it's just going to go into a state of disrepair, especially if it's something you really enjoyed.
Not that one. That truck got improved a lot over what I had it.
It went to a better home.
It did. It really did. So.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm hoping here at some point that I'm going to be able to roll around a little bit in Dad's old Kenworth. My dad's got I think I told you that he's got a 900A model long hood with a KTA, and hopefully next summer be back on the road. And yeah, I'm kind of trying to get to be able to put some plates on it so I could maybe run a few miles with it. It's not something I don't think I'd want to drive every day, but it would just be cool as shit to roll around in, take the odd trip, maybe to Manitoba or Saskatchewan somewhere, or maybe over the Coke just to hear that K pull. I don't know.
I have a feeling when you drive across Saskatchewan with it, you'll be happy to go back to your Airliner rear suspension, even if that isn't the best suspension on the market. I think you'll be happy to have it back.
Well, little secret about that truck. So when my dad does a project, Dad went and looked at it, and he was just going to put. It always starts with something. Like there'll be some little thing that he's going to do to his, well, I'm going to improve. Like he had his 57 show. I think the first thing on that was he was going to do the seat, and then the whole interior got done. And then it was like, well, I really don't love the way the straight axle rides. And then it came back tub, blown 350, like, things like that. And so the 900 was going to get a set of rear ends on 8-bag just because he wanted to have different gearing. And now it's got Super 40s on 40 Airliner, and the front end's going to be on Air too. So it should ride pretty well as good as mine anyways.
Oh, so it has a Freightliner. Wait, you put a Freightliner suspension on a Kenworth? And you're admitting to this on air?
I didn't. Dad did. So I mean,
okay.
It's okay. I can admit. Yeah. It's what you got, right?
You're gonna chase away anyone who listens to this that's a purist. You know that, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can put it back, right? You could put it back to stock if you wanted to.
You could do that.
I mean, it's seriously though probably the best. Like the 40,000 Airliner is one of the best riding suspensions out there. So, even though I know I've bitched about but mine's 46 and I don't think it's working right. In fact, I've had some people tell me they're pretty sure it's the shocks, even though they're not showing signs of leakage. And I'm gonna change them out here this week, find out if that is in fact it.
I love how mine rides until you start bobtailing, which I mean I know any semi isn't good for bobtailing, but the Airliner, it seems to pop, and the leveling valve doesn't release air quick enough. You just end up blowing up the bags. But as soon as there's even an empty trailer on it, it rides like a charm.
And that's what got me thinking mine was a ride height thing, right? Because every now and then it seemed to ride okay, but you had to be loaded like right to the max. And then I thought it was in my trailer. I thought, well, maybe it's where I'm loading the trailer, because step decks will ride weird depending on how you load them. And then I pulled a different deck, same damn thing. I had it fully loaded, and it rode like that. So yeah, I'm thinking it's in the shocks, and also I have a little bit of a just now I've got like a little bit of a hop, almost like a little bit of a vibration, which really makes me think it's shocks.
If you want to make a step deck ride like absolute crap, put 60,000 pounds in about 10 feet and about the belly of it. You'll be wishing you had a steel trailer forever, especially if it's an aluminum frame. Oh, the flex you get out of that is scary.
Oh yeah. Well, I had 65,000 and 10 feet on mine, but mine's steel, and it didn't actually handle it all that badly. But I do know what you mean.
The aluminum's built for it. It'll just sit there and snap you forever. It rides like crap. You just hate it.
It's crazy how much like the flex and that in a trailer, like what a difference that makes in ride, and like and how resilient they are. Like I had one this one Peerless log trailer that we had, and we had a Peterbilt, little lightweight Peterbilt in front of it, and it was like a short wheelbase. It should not have been a log truck. Like it's way too light for a log truck, and it had 46. The only thing that would qualify it had 46 rears, and it had a 14.6 front, but it was like a 220 wheelbase and like a 5/16 frame on it, like just light, like with 6 bunks on it, and like I'm talking 10 wide bunks on a Tridem drop frame trailer. That truck would tear out at 15.7. Like it was super light. Yeah. And so then winter weight load of logs in Alberta, I was allowed to carry 57.6 gross. And so like get 42.5, 43 ton payload on a 6-axle is pretty good, right? But that trailer, oh, and it was scary when you had shortwood on it. Like if you had 3 decks of shortwood on it, and you'd look in your mirror, and that trailer would flex so much that you'd see you'd see logs from the back bunk of logs. They would show up in your mirror as you went down the road because the whole thing was flexing. So I just didn't look back, like ever look back, especially if you're loaded right to the roof, right? And so I loaded up this one time in the block and started going, and it was a little bit of a warm day, like +2, +3, and there was a little section of muskeg that I didn't know that's what it was. It just looked like part of the block, right? I was driving along, and my drives broke through the skeg, and I was loaded right to the roof on the front, and then in about the middle of the stakes for both the back tiers, and it started going, like leaning over, and then stopped because it kind of leaned up against the log deck, and like the front half of the trailer was just about laid right over. I could see underneath the hood on the one side, like so on the passenger side, you could see about 8 inches. Like the hood was here, and the bottom of the cowl was about 8 inches lower on the passenger side. The wheels on the drive side on the right were sunk right underneath the muskeg. The back axle on the trailer was flat on the ground, and the steers were flat on the ground.
Yeah, doesn't sound like with the frame at all.
No, and so I'm thinking, holy shit, when we get this thing out of here, it's going to be a disaster. So we ended up grabbing with the loader and pulling it over sideways, put one grader in front of it and one grader behind it, and got it out of this hole after we'd unloaded a bunch of wood off it, right? And pulled it out of the hole, looking it over, not a thing. Didn't pop any bolts, didn't pop any rivets, nothing. It just sprung right back to flat. I'm like, well, guess I'll put a load on it and take it to town.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it, man. Like, and but it was a scary truck to drive, and it had air track on it, and like when you start running big weight on air track, and those springs are kind of what's holding it up, right? Or they're helping. And when you got like 25,000 kgs on your drives, which is what we run in the wintertime, right? If you break a spring, and I that truck went over like almost every year from the time it was new. I never rolled it, but someone rolled it just about every year when it was new, and you'd hear the spring pop when it broke as the truck leaned right, and then the truck would go back left. But when it came back right, it would go really in a hurry, and that's when it would go over.
It would move quite quickly at that point, huh?
Yeah.
But all you're doing is really verifying, because I've always said that I'm not really scared of too many used trucks, except for BC Alberta log trucks and oil field trucks. That's the two I won't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
So you're just verifying my opinion on that.
Oh, I could tell you probably stories for about 18 hours on verifying that very fact. I mean, they're definitely. What's that?
You guys are hard on equipment.
Well, I would say Ontario log trucks are probably pretty hard on equipment too. Running all that rock, I mean, it's got to be really, really. And those trailers, I'm actually amazed, because I mean, when I've seen pictures and videos of guys going over like the hummocks and stuff. When you've got like a 5-axle trailer and you climb up over something, even if you got your air out of your front axle, it runs up onto. So you got all that weight over just on those middle axles, and the back ones will actually come off the ground. Like, that's gotta be horrific on a trailer.
Minor detail. More speed. More speed. You'll get across without spinning out.
We used to have a guy in Whitecourt there. He had these. This is like my dad's day of logging. And for those don't know, I'm wearing a Max shirt, even though I drive a Western Star. But this guy had these. He had old Superliners, with V8s in them. And he used to. His name was Cho, and they'd tell him he needed to chain up. He said, "No chain, more power." And he had these Max cranked up, man. And I don't know what, like, Dad said he'd get one season maybe out of a set of drives on them. That's how much power they were putting to the ground. And I know of people who got past, like, they were going up hills with like a body job, and he'd pass them with a load of logs on with the 500 V8 Max.
Jeepers.
Yeah. Yeah, just insane. I still, I know I've said it before on here. I still want to find a Superliner with a V8 just to do up. There's still nothing sounds better than a V8.
Mile per gallon won't be real great, but the smiles will be right up there.
Well, yeah, I'm not planning on running it across the country, really.
Oh, no? Maybe that's your next big project after you quit trying to copy my Star.
Well, I'm also not planning on running that KTA across the country either, because Dad told me what kind of mileage he was getting when he was going back and forth. It's not good.
No?
No. People who think that a C15 Cat doesn't get good mileage, just try running a 600K with 4, 5, 6 gears in it and see what you think.
Yeah, it wouldn't slow down for much though.
No, he could go up the Smasher. He could just split one and go up the Smasher with 30,000 in the box.
I can't do that empty, you know that.
Yeah, those old Ks are pretty healthy. And what a huge motor, eh? Have you ever seen one?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, because they're 19 liters, eh?
What?
Yeah, it's a 19-liter motor.
Oh, I did not know that.
So they're like, it's massive. Like yeah, like if you look under the hood of they only put them in, like, you had to have, I think for the first little while, they always had to be in an extended hood or like or a cab over, because that was the only way you could have enough room for them and enough cooling.
Wow. I was not aware of that.
And then Freightliner actually built a cab over that was for it so that it would have enough cooling, and then they put 12 Vs or KTs in them. They're called a Powerliner. Have you ever seen one of them?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, look it up on the computer when you get a chance. And it's got they got they're different looking. I don't know, good or bad. I guess depends. They're really different, and you never see them. If you ever see one, buy it, because they're super rare. but they got a really wide grill on them, and they're called a power liner, and that's what they were made for. Checking it out now.
So, what makes you think I'd ever want to own another truck to start with? Why would I buy one of them?
Well, you could sell it to a truck nerd like me. I know plenty of guys who buy old trucks.
That's interesting looking.
It's
Barely
different,
any, Barely any room for the headlights. The grill's so wide.
I know. I can't remember how big the rad was. It was a massive rad, though.
Clearly for a 19-liter engine or a V12.
Yeah. Have you seen Cab Over Kev on Instagram there? Do you follow him?
I don't think so.
He runs around the southern states there with an 8V that he's got tuned up. And so he'll have videos on there sometimes, and it's an old FLC cab over, and he pulls flatbed down there and stuff. But there's a couple of videos on there with the sound, pretty awesome. And it's an 8V, and he switched he's a little more hardcore than we are apparently, because he switched the 13 speed out for 6 and 4. So he's got a 6 and 4 and a cab over with the linkage and everything in front of or behind an 8V. I mean, that's some dedication to shifting right there.
How do you set that up in a cab over? That's interesting. That's
yeah, both.
That's pretty much a truck you'll never ever have stolen. Nobody would figure out how to drive it. Leave the keys in the ignition. Nobody will take it anywhere. They won't get far.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, yeah, you see those memes about theft protection for millennials of just a manual transmission. Well, yeah, 2 sticks is even better.
You write the instructions in cursive, they'll be really screwed.
10-4. Oh man, have you ever driven a 2-stick or
no?
No, it's interesting the first time you do it, right? And I mean, bobtailing, you really never have to shift the brownie, but if you unless you got like a really really old truck, like I drove that truck of like the truck that they had at Mac, the B56,
yeah,
or B61. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, that thing had the like 190 thermodyne in it. So even like bobtailing around the city, you're still shifting the brownie. I was like, I remember the first time I drove it just around the Anthony Henday, and I was going, holy man, I can't believe guys used to drive these things all the way to Yellowknife. Like, I can't hardly, like, I got out of there and I was hunched over because I mean, I can't sit up straight in it, right? And then
well, if you wouldn't be 6'5", then you'd be a normal height.
Well, I'm only 6'3", but I got an abnormally long body, so. That shit. It pretty, I don't know. Like say, hats off to the old guys who did that, because I know I couldn't have fucking sat in there for 16 hours a day.
Can't imagine hooking that to even a tandem and driving for 16 hours a day, huh?
Oh, there's an idea for a YouTube channel, driving team in a B61 Mac across Canada.
I don't know of anyone that would willingly put themselves through that abuse, Greg. and definitely don't know 2 people who would do that.
Yeah, not even for fame and fortune.
The price isn't high enough. YouTube isn't that a great way to get lucrative. That rich.
No, that's the truth. Yeah, I can't imagine. I know even from driving a few older winch tractors and stuff, like even just before, did you cut? I know I'm going all over the place here, but did you cut the back out of your W9, or was it already done?
That was done before I got it. The previous owner had that cut out and joined together the big hole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that without that big hole conversion, I mean, any regular cab Kenworth, for myself, like even driving that across the country is just torturous.
That's not fun. Not fun at all.
No, I had a my second truck that I bought was a T8, just a regular cab T8 with HN. I know I've talked about it on here before, but the first time I went out to haul equipment on the fires, I didn't even take a pillow with me. I didn't know I was going to be overnighting it in my day cab, and that's what I had for a day cab. Oh my god, my back's never been so bloody sore in my life. I was in that truck for 3 days, and a lot of it just sleeping across the seats. Thankfully, it had a 3/4 seat, so at least it was not terrible, but no, it was terrible. I don't know what I'm fucking saying, but
Even that though, any Kenworth cab is only about 5 feet wide, so I mean you still can't stretch out very well. Get your knees folded up around your something, and yeah, it's not real comfortable.
or the Heritage Cab Western Stars. I remember we used to go in the springtime. I hauled logs with them a bit. I mean, I barely fit in one of them too. And you go out we'd go out and sit at the end of the bush road waiting for frost in the ground is really what we were waiting for. So I go out there and I'm sitting at the end of the road gonna grab a nap, and I'd put my feet out the window on one side and then sleep until my feet went numb, and then you'd wake up and kind of shake your feet out and go the other way. And sorry, getting a message here.
It's that Luke wondering how badly we're talking about him, isn't it?
Yeah. And now I got a couple other messages too.
Must be painful to be that popular.
Not terribly. I'll answer all that later.
I can never figure out which is worse between you and Luke. Send each of you a message, and it's usually 3 or 4 days you get a response. So pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying to solve that too on social media, because apparently I'm not very good at replying to those either. And then I'll be like, oh, look, I had a comment 8 days ago. I'm guessing the guy might have wanted an answer to his question by now. So I might have to outsource my customer service, make it a little more efficient.
Hey, there's an idea. You hiring a manager?
Oh, there you go. Are you looking for a job or?
Well, maybe. Depends how the next few days go. We'll see.
Oh, there you go.
We'll see.
Sit you at home for a while, and you can just manage social media accounts and edit and do all that fun stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, my current editor and manager would tell you it doesn't pay very well.
Yeah. I'm guessing the pay sucks a lot, but hey, it could be good fun though.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely be fun, but I just kind of worry that once you weren't getting paid all that
nonsense,
or at least your parts of it.
I could edit out all the nonsense. Keep Luke on the straight and narrow and edit out his nonsense, and we'd be all right. That'd be worth all the pay in the world.
Well, I mean, there isn't a lot of nonsense when the computer doesn't, when the computer won't boot up, So.
Yeah, we should buy him one of them, probably, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I've been thinking. This is one of those things that doesn't come with, it doesn't actually come with many perks or benefits.
I'm sure he feels like he's spent enough money on his vehicles in the last couple of weeks to not need to buy a computer.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta answer this. But you can keep talking,
Well, you were cutting out a bit there. It was going all jerky on me,
really?
So I couldn't tell what was going on.
I don't think it's my internet, but
might be mine. Who knows?
Yeah. We don't want to say much, right? Right now, at least we only have one person to throw under the bus about shitty internet.
Yeah. I don't want to have to set up a little studio in the basement right next to my Wi-Fi router, so I can promise it's not me. I don't want to do that.
You don't want to?
No, not really.
I don't know. I've been thinking about setting up a dedicated place, but it's because it's hard actually in post sometimes to you'll get weird echoes and stuff that you don't realize are there when you're recording. Or like it's funny because wind noise I can actually edit out fairly easy on the program that I got. Like basically I take a sample of it and then it takes that sample and it finds it anywhere in the track and knocks it down. It works pretty well, or at least I think it does.
That annoying sound of my my co-host talking, just get rid of it.
Just take a sample. That was actually one of the warnings when I was learning how to use it. It's like, make sure that you don't actually take a sample of your voice because it will cut your voice completely from the track.
Is there an undo button on this program? You found it pretty quickly?
Yeah, I found it after, we'll just say I found it, and I was also really glad I had a backup.
Okay.
Because until I found the undo button, I had one moment where it was like a whole podcast disappeared, and I thought I'd got rid of it forever. So
there's no background noise, but there's no audio in it either.
Yeah,
nice.
It's like, hey, welcome to the Semi Crazy Podcast, and that's it.
Well then,
yeah. I mean, you might think that's an improvement some days, but
well, I've had good chuckles listening to you two talk about trucking and incriminating yourselves with stories from the past that no one can prove are true or not anymore. So I've had a few good chuckles.
Right. That's why I always I always try to couch everything with, I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is up on this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I wait and I tell my mother every year like one or two stories from my teenage years because I'm far enough away from it now that she can't really do anything about it.
She's just shocked.
It's pretty hard for her.
Shocked that you're still alive and turned out as well as you did, considering.
That's basically it. Yeah, told me I had a bunch of aunts that basically said, well, if he makes his 30th birthday, he'll be lucky. And I mean, I've done that. I made 40 even, so I mean, I should pretty well be able to go out and do whatever I want now.
I was gonna say you're proudly sitting here at what, 55, 60?
Fuck, I don't look an eight. I didn't think I looked a year over 50, but
okay.
44. Thanks a lot, but
okay. Must have been a fun 44 years, Greg.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just kidding. You'd pass for 38, but just.
Oh, okay. Just barely.
Just barely.
Yeah. No. I know they say like 40 is the new 20 on all the on all the liquor stores here, and I've still never been ID'd, so I'm guessing I look pretty close to my age, or at least that.
I got nothing. I'm just gonna leave that one alone, just for my own health.
Okay. All right, on. I was gonna ask you something. I got a good memory, but it's just incredibly short sometimes.
You need to start taking notes, Greg. You should be writing things down as you have your thoughts.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's kind of been a little bit of a tumultuous time lately, and I can't really elaborate on it totally. But I'm thinking probably in a couple months here, I'll be able to be a little more together and have my shit together, we'll say, or at least somewhat.
So, can we count on having one of these like every Monday then? Because I know one of my buddies has been quite disappointed on the inconsistency lately. I got him hooked on this, and then it went to all kinds of inconsistencies. So.
Yeah, I plan on being much more consistent with it. And now that we've figured out how to get you on here, even if Squirrely Internet there can't make it on, at least I can have a co-host. Because although I do a lot of talking, if I'm on here by myself, it's really not nearly as much fun. And I don't know anyone who wants to listen to just me.
Well, I'm sure we could find a computer programmer who can make a computer program that sounds just as intelligent as any of us ever will. So, I mean, we could design that, I'm sure.
Shh. We don't want to talk ourselves out of a job here. So,
wait, job?
I mean, not that it's a paying job.
I thought you got to get paid to call it a job.
volunteer work, public service.
Eh, Anything you do just for the fun of it that you don't get paid for has to be classed as a hobby. I'm sure of it. And you go
Oh,
have
really?
a job so you can pay for your hobbies.
I thought you could call it like I say, I thought you could call it volunteer work or I don't know. I did a lot of years of trucking that was non for profit trucking, so
Yeah, there is that.
I should have had that. I actually thought I thought sometimes I should have that on the door of my truck. I mean, if anybody knew, I really should be able to bypass the scales and stuff. Not for hire because really wasn't paying all that well.
Should have had that as a company name, not for profit trucking.
Well, it's never too late, man. It's never too late.
That's actually a good idea. Huh.
There you go. There's the name of your next company.
You're implying that I want to keep trucking for that. Come on now.
Oh,
you got company.
Yeah, apparently, eh? Yeah, I do have company, but we can keep going. We almost got an hour in, actually. That's pretty good.
It's shocking.
Yeah, it is. It wasn't shocking that we lost Luke after 5 minutes.
I was hoping to have a little more time than that to razz him. I'm not going to lie. I had all kinds of things planned, but I'll save those ideas for another time. If I get the chance.
Well, I mean, you could also do what normally happens to you, and you could just say it here, and it's indefensible because he's not even here, right? At least I'm here to refute some things. And
yeah. I'm not sure he'd be too happy if I brought up anything I'd bring up right now. So we'll just leave that alone for a few weeks so the pain isn't so real anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We didn't get to hear about his week, and I don't think he had the best week anyways. It wasn't his favorite, but he got some stuff figured out on his truck. I know that much. So he's pretty happy about getting that back on the road and rolling. And,
is it back? Is he back on the road now?
Yeah, he got her fixed up and got a new tune in there, and I'll let him speak to that. But yeah, truck's running way better, so that's always a good thing.
I was impressed in the last podcast. He did admit that he's not. What were his exact words? He realizes he's not doing this the easiest way, but he still wants to do it his way. Something like that.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. It's but I guess you think back though, when you were younger, you didn't do it easy either, and neither did I.
No, it took me a long time to learn that a 42-inch bunk and a 650 horse 12.7 Detroit aren't the best combination for making money. Lots of fun, but not the best combination for profitability.
Oh yeah. No, same thing. I had to figure that out the hard way too. I had that truck that I was talking about that I hauled equipment to the fire with, and I had a 5 1/4 Cummins in there that was cranked up pretty good, and 6-inch straight pipes and all of that, and yeah, not the recipe for profitability when you had to put turbos and different things on there.
My engine did okay. I spent the night. I spent a Friday night and a Saturday at the base of Albert Canyon one week trying to get towed out of there because I blew out a transmission. But once I got talking to the previous owner, I figured that transmission had well over 2 million kilometers, so it probably didn't really owe me anything anyway. But that kind of horsepower and running the mountains with a Tridem and no oil cooler, no transmission cooler.
Oh.
and 2 million plus kilometers, so I don't think it owed me too much at that point. Probably should have just changed it when I did the clutch 6 months earlier, but I didn't really think about it. Oops.
Well, that's more to the more of the problem with the old trucks. It's rarely ever the engine. like even that N14, yeah, I put a turbo in it and I put a couple things in it, and it really that ran pretty good. I had to put a balancer on it, but yeah, all the rest of it, I mean, it was an old log truck when I bought it, and like you said, the old Alberta log trucks, BC log trucks, that was a BC log truck. So I mean, I was welding on the suspension, and I was putting springs in it, and I was putting wiring, and then I bought like shit, I'm so smart. I bought like 5 more old BC log trucks after that, and ran them the same thing, right? And you're the one of them I went to go safety it one year, and my brother-in-law says to me, he's like, "Well, you know what I would do?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "I would rewire it and redo all of the airlines from the cab back." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Well, yeah." And it was, of course, Kenworth, where you put the wires and everything right against the frame, and they'd been sitting there, and I couldn't figure out why I'd lose air every night. Well, there was spots in there that had never been washed, and there was rocks that were holding air in. So when the air was pressured up and it was tight against the frame, it would hold it because the compressor had enough air to hold the air. And at night, so he showed me, and like the lines from front to back were just riddled with holes, and the wiring was all rotted. And so I redid all of that. I did new shocks. I did everything. That safety cost me 25 grand, and I thought, perfect. I'll never have any problems with this truck. It's like a new truck now, right?
How'd that work out?
Oh, a week later, it blew a head gasket, and so then, like I say, that can happen. Okay, whatever.
Mhm.
So but my driver wasn't really right on top of that, and it got heated up. So took the cheap way out because I just spent 25 grand. So I just put a head gasket on it in shop, put it in, didn't get the head machine. Well, the head was warped, so it made it another day and a half.
Do it again. This time with
Pull it apart. Yeah, this time send it in, machine it, bring it back. Yeah, and yeah, so that truck was ended up being down for like a month by the time it was all said and done. So I mean, what do you lose in a month? Like, yeah, it's not even the money you put into it, right? It's that downtime.
Well, a month, it should only be good for 4 or 5 grand income. Come on now.
Yeah.
You,
man.
you guys are making more than that? I'm in the wrong business here.
I'm trying not to disclose numbers. I'll just say I'm I'm just very happy with what I make right now. So
that's good.
Yeah. No, I've actually been doing pretty well. Since I stopped just hauling steel from the coast, I'm doing well.
It's good. So, do we have any updates yet on that other project you were talking about, or?
It's not happening just yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold off for a little while. Probably next spring.
I don't even know, when did you buy yours in comparison to mine?
Bought it in January, or actually, sorry, bought it in December. Put it in service in January.
So it's just coming up to a year old or 2?
Just kind of coming up to 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You don't have quite enough time on it yet.
No, and even spring might not be enough, but at least in spring I can
won't lose too much.
I can actually I can put an order in and play around that way. So we'll see what happens by then, right?
No, I pulled my numbers on Friday, just see where I'm at, and you can make things kind of work. Kind of.
Kind of sort of make it work.
Yeah, it is what it is. You lose a bit here and there, but it wouldn't be the end of the world type of deal.
No, it's in for. I held off on doing a few things to it because of that, like because I thought I was gonna maybe make a change that way, but now I'm gonna go ahead and I went and bought my air dumps for the front end. I bought a bunch of parts already, so
where do you get that idea? Do you mind telling everyone?
I got that idea from you. I'll give you the credit.
Okay.
Yeah, because I felt really inadequate when we hung out in Kamloops and Marlon rolled up, and then just like one of those low riders that you see rolls up and dumps his air, just drops down all cool, and I'm sitting there high riding, and he's bugging me about my gap, and
Yeah, why is there 6 inches above your tire and to your fender?
yeah, I don't, I didn't really appreciate that. I did show you a picture where there was actually no tire. I mean,
Yeah,
recently.
yeah. The wheel well wasn't all that full, but the bumper sat down to the pavement quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean that was about as low as my truck's ever got. So, and I challenge you to get yours lower with tires on it. Probably can't happen.
I just put new Michelin steer tires on that. Don't jinx me. I don't want to have that happen.
Oh yeah, you don't. I don't ever want to have it happen again either. I was actually, um, someone had put a question out because we asked for some Q&A, and someone had asked like scariest ride, and that's not even my scariest ride, but that one was pretty sketchy. Have you ever had like a really really sketchy ride, or
Well,
tell me your most hairy ride?
there's a few times that come to mind, I guess. And I mean, it wasn't really all that scary. It just completely unexpected. And the one time was in Texas. It's like 100 degrees. There's a bunch of grease on the road, obviously. Flash rainstorm, and I had some really low rolling resistance Ecopia drives on that 2015 T660 I was driving at the time.
Yep.
And with the grease on the road and the rain, I would like driving down the road at 60 to 65 miles an hour with a 2015 Packard. I would stand on it and break loose. It would just wipe
Jesus.
out. It was so scary. The first time that happened, I think I went out to pass someone, and the back of the truck just went sideways. I was like, oh my god. So I mean, and I did it multiple times just to see what what was going on. Um, and So that wasn't any fun. There's another time I was coming down 17 in the winter as I was hauling cattle, and I come into, I want to say Terrace Bay has the big log or the big lumber mill out back there.
Yep.
So I come into town, and the cops had been blocking the road because the road was closed. They had the whole road back to the lumber mill and back out lined both ways with trucks to get them off the highway so they don't sit on the road in town, so the locals can still move around. So as I come up, the truck in front of me pulls to the right and stops because of the road was still closed. And as I pull up, the cop pulls off the road and the road's open. So I'm first in line, ready to go. So whatever, I'm young and dumb and full of whatever, ready to go. So I get bombing down there, and I kept asking people on the radio if they wanted to lead because I was slow in all those hills, obviously, uphill.
Yeah.
Nobody was real keen to lead, and I got cocky and started getting after it. Of course, everything was still snow covered and just crappy. And there's no oncoming traffic, so I started using the entire road for some of the curves and stuff, or pushing the center quite hard from where I knew the center would be if I could see it. So I just started giving her. And I come down around the one curve, so I'm coming down around a hill above what my Ontario speed limiter would let me do in a 90 zone. And met an OPP going the other way, also moving quite rapidly. And we met in a left-hand curve. So the first thing I do is promptly lift my foot off the fuel, which kicks the jakes on. I should have had them turned off. I didn't. Kicks the jakes on, and I just feel the entire back end of my truck settle out into the curve a little bit and just stay there the entire way around. I swear I drifted the entire way around that curve. And yeah, we slowed down a little bit after that. It was too close for this boy. Not a good feeling.
No, one thing to be drifting it on a back road, but another thing to be on the highway at a $110. Like we used to basically do that every day coming out of the bush, but like there were still times where you I can't put my finger on which is the most scary, but I had one where I crested this hill coming down to one of the bridges on the Goose Main back home, and like you come down that hill and you'd come over the top in like fourth gear on the Jakes and just take it easy, and then you'd grab fifth, grab sixth as you kind of went down, and so you started to, when you first broke over, you come down about a few hundred yards, and then you make a slight turn to the right, and then it keeps going down, and you make a slight turn to the left, keeps going down, and then there's, of course, you don't meet the bridge straight. You never meet a bridge straight in the bush.
That would be too easy.
Yeah, right? So you always have that slight curve onto the bridge, and I used to come, hit that bridge at about maybe 65, 70, and then walk on it because you had a hill, and you had to make a right-hand turn off the bridge and climb up the other side. And the other side wasn't a big climb. Like, you'd just be in the basement. Like, it's not like it was a second gear climb or anything. And so I come over the top, full load of logs on, and I thought the sand truck had been in recently. And just as I broke over, sound of silence almost. Like the truck just jaked her out. So I stepped on the clutch, grabbed another gear, start going, locked it up again, grabbed another one. So I'm in seventh gear way before I want to go, and got the tires rotating again. But I mean, I can't be woeing it up too much with too much brake, and still slippery. And there's a guy waiting because it's a one way there, and so there was a guy waiting on the other side of the bridge in the pullout, and I hit the bridge at 95 in that corner, and the whole thing was leaning over to the outside. And I leaned all the way across the bridge and into the next corner, and then put my foot in it, and I spun out on the hill because I couldn't make a gear because I was so scared. I was shaking. I missed every gear in the box and spun out.
Wow, you hit it that much faster than you ever had before and still spun out. Good thing you weren't going slow, huh?
Yeah, like I would have gone up there in high range if I'd actually made my shifts, but I had one other time I did that too, and I can't remember if I talked about it here, but I was going down the road and in the bush too, and just clipping along. I'd been down this block road a bunch of times, but in a different spot, and so they just put all the markers up, and it was we were on the 100 spur road, and then we went on to the 400 at like 402 or whatever. You came onto this road, and then you pulled a hill after that. So I'm coming out, and I called loaded 102, and I got my music going, just cruising along, and then I come up to the next one, and I go, loaded 10, fuck. I throw the microphone because I was at 100, not 101. I thought I was coming. So I come to the T, still clipping along at like 50 with a load of logs on, right? And so no time to hit the whoa button or nothing. I just cranked it and wheeled around there. I took the grader bank on the inside and the outside out, and just kept my foot in it, and holy man, same thing, spun out on the next hill because I was just shaking. Like, this is my first winter in the bush, man, too, right? So got up there, put my chains on, walked my way up the hill. I'm taking my chains off. One of the other guys comes up to me, Jerry, and he's like, I've never seen that 10 fuck marker. Where's it at?
I've done some fun things with hauling feed in Northern Ontario, but nothing like you boys do in the bush. That's crazy.
Well, when I say I miss it, like I miss that part of it, but it's like I know if I go back, like I'll go back to and help my buddy Bill out for a little bit in the winter, and it reminds me why I don't want to do it anymore. I'm older and wiser now.
It's one of those things when you're actually there doing it. Every day sucks because you're chaining up and you're fighting everything. But then once you're away from it and it's summer and it's 30 degrees out, and you're just thinking back and reminiscing. You got all kinds of great stories from those times.
Yeah,
it's always the worst days that make the best stories. That's the problem with trucking.
I find that it's that way with life, even, right? Like if you, I told that to my son one time. He's like, "Oh, why does when we go out and like this really sucks?" And I said, "Well, if you go out and you just." If you were like, okay, yeah, we went here, And then we turned around and went home. I said, "Where's the story in that?" Because it was like, we went here, the quad broke down, and then we had to pull it, and then the winch let go on that one, and so then we had to do this, and then we had to do that, and that's a great story. Or, you know, like, but if you just go there and everything goes just perfect to plan, well, I don't know. So I don't know.
That's a tip. That's the trick behind a creative YouTube channel. You got to make things go wrong so it makes a better story. Got to be a better actor.
Or you just have to make sure you have your camera on when things are going sideways. The cops were chasing a guy down the QE2, down the wrong way northbound, coming towards me, and I had my GoPro on and everything else, and I was like, "Holy shit! I can't believe that happened. That's going to be great YouTube content." Yeah, guess what? My GoPro was out of battery at that point, so it ran out just before I went under the overpass to see that. Because I'd been filming all my loading.
Yeah, GoPro.
Yeah.
If you listen to this, which you probably won't, please give us better battery life, eh?
Yeah, 10-4. 10-4. Well, I want to keep chatting, but I got to make some miles today, and I got a few things to do. So
I'm probably going to mix a drink here in a minute and sit in my backyard some more. I'll probably make let me think. Is today the third or fourth afternoon and evening in a row that we have a campfire and friends? I'm not sure, but it's getting up there. I think it's a fourth.
Tough life. I'm sure you'll be thinking of me while I'm driving to Swift, right?
Absolutely. I'll even have a drink for you. I promise. I'll mix I'll mix one up and write your name on it. This one's for Greg.
That'd be great.
Guy's working today.
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, that'll be just as good as being there, I'm sure.
Now, I'll have a hard time texting the smell of the campfire smoke to you, so you're going to have to be here to experience that.
True enough.
One of these days when you're out here, you got to drop in for a little bit, but I guess I'm going trucking again soon, so.
Oh, we'll make it happen. One of these days we will. If nothing else, I'll just take off a couple days and hang out. That can happen. So
we'll see what happens there.
You betcha. All right, man. I'm gonna roll.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks for coming on.
Don't work too hard.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, bro.
No
I try not to. Take care.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Semi Crazy Podcast.
If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. You can find me on Instagram, Luke Dirk Phillips.
And you can find me on Instagram, Semi Crazy Inc., and on Facebook, Semi Crazy Truck Pictures. Thanks for listening.